Hvitserk, Ragnar's son, was one of the many sons of the legendary Viking chieftain Ragnar Lothbrok, and while his deeds are not as well attested to as some of his other, more illustrious siblings such as Ivar the Boneless or Bjorn Ironside, Hvitserk was still a formidable and powerful Viking warrior in his own right. And the conclusion to his story depicted in Vikings is one of the most historically inaccurate and grossly misconstrued character endings in the series. There is a singular historical text from the medieval period which discusses the death of Hvitserk, Ragnar's son, in some detail, and the death of this Viking warrior is more brutal, awe-inspiring, and epic than you could have ever imagined. But before we begin, don't forget, if you want to learn more about the death of some of history's greatest figures, then subscribe to my channel Historical Exit. Hvitserk first comes into mention in historical texts shortly after the execution of his father Ragnar at the hands of King Aelle of Northumbria in 865 AD, and Hvitserk alongside his brothers Bjorn Ironside, Ivar the Boneless, and Sigurd Snake in the Eye would collectively lead the infamous Great Heathen Army to the shores of England, and there they would exact a brutal and painful death against King Aelle. Having completed his conquest of revenge against the English and King Aelle, Hvitserk through uncertain means and reasons would eventually find himself roaming the lands of the Rus, and he, alongside his Viking comrades, will begin to raid the eastern territories of this region. To counteract this growing threat, a massive Rus army was sent to defeat Hvitserk and his forces, and the Vikings will be unable to defeat such a powerful and well-manned army, and Hvitserk himself would be captured in the ensuing battle. The details of this encounter are lost to history, and the sole reference to this defeat is mentioned in the historical text Gesta Danorum, a 12th century medieval text which states the following in regards to the events that occurred after Hvitserk was captured by his Rus enemies. Choosing death before shame, he refused conversion to the Christian faith, and elected to be consumed by flames rather than abandon the customs of his ancestors. As can be interpreted from the above quote from the works written by Saxo Grammaticus, it is clear that Hvitserk is presented with the option of converting to Christianity, the predominant religion of some Rus rulers during that time, or else he would be executed for his trespasses against the Rus. This is an offer that Grammaticus states that Hvitserk would refuse vehemently, and he would happily choose death and everlasting glory in Valhalla than life as a Christian. This answer, although brave and awe-inspiring, would result in Hvitserk being burned to death, a manner of passing which, if the Gesta Danorum is to be believed, was the execution method of his own choosing, as a simple death by beheading or hanging would be far too mundane for a Viking of Hvitserk's repute. Therefore, although the Gesta Danorum was written nearly 300 years after the death of Hvitserk, it is still the most reliable and closest to the event source that we have available to us which talks about his death in some way or form. And to me, it seems much more fitting that a fearsome Viking like Hvitserk would try to have an epic and glorious death like his father, rather than convert to Christianity as what was depicted in the TV series Vikings. But let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this video and what other historical figures' death you would like for me to cover next. But as always, if you want to learn more about the death of some of history's greatest figures, then subscribe to my channel Historical Exit, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.